Hello and welcome, I'm Lenae, the music reviewer, and before we jump into today's episode, a few people have been asking me what happened to Anti-Liam. I did mention in an earlier video that he died, but that was just a bit of patter between the both of us. I thought you would be smart enough to realise that was, but I'll let you off this time. But Anti-Liam's been here like the whole time. He's been over at the camera, just there. Say hi, wave to the people. I don't blame you for forgetting about him. I'm not really in a good mood with him either. He's in a lot of debt to me. a lot of debt. I've been doing this for the past like 6 months now. Surely I've paid up. You're not gonna be paying that off anytime soon, son. I'm your Tom Nook. You're my little bitch just now. Okay. I hope you got plenty of water because you're gonna be on his legs for a long time. You know, exclusively drink Pepsi Max cherry. That's really all my body will allow me to drink. That's not my issue. But less about him. Let's get into the main meat and potatoes of today's episode, which is just another Roundup video. But this time, going to be catching up on all the albums that I didn't get a chance to review, or maybe I did review them in an earlier video, but I've either unlisted or deleted said video. An EP roundup and a January roundup thing, as well as a February roundup that never got published. That's a bit of lost media right there. So if you get a bit of deja vu during any of this, just know that you're not going crazy yet. Just that, yeah, that's probably because I've done it before. But without further ado, let's review 40 albums in however many minutes I managed to edit this in. Quiche, Let's Be Friends. Yeah, this was a record, or EP even, that I was big on when it first came out. I find the influences are a little bit thick. It's not hard to see where they draw influence from. But that being said, it was an enjoyable enough listen that I'm excited to see what the band do next. CupcakKe, Ephorize. I don't think anyone really expected much from this record at all, but CupcakKe just surprised everyone, I'd say. Just absolutely cartoony, charismatic, just an absolute force to be reckoned with at some points in this record. I'm hoping that on the next release she just gets some even better, more fitting production, because she's on the right route to creating something truly great. X-Certs, Hold On To Your Heart. Yeah, this is an album here that just when it's going full power pop, like nostalgic wise, it's a lot of fun, but it's a minority of the tracks on here. It's very just sterile and devoid of much of that real oomph that a lot of the other records have. Peach Club, Cherry Baby. The worst thing about this EP is that there's not more of it. I'm really looking forward to a full length release because there's just such visceralness in tune with the girl's own charm here. I just think it's a nice mix. I just keep coming back to this at random points during the year and just enjoying it a whole lot. JPEGMAFIA, Veteran, easily one of the best hip hop releases of the year. Just so confrontational and full of attitude. JPEGMAFIA just like grabs you by the neck from the start of this record till it ends. It's one of these records that just grows on me more and more every time I've been listening to it. I've got a new favourite line each time. Just, yeah, totally worth the hype that it's getting. Fauves, this is just a really fun EP. There's not really much else I can say about it. It just manages to capture all of the energy of a live show, and I've managed to see them live, and yeah, they're just having as much fun as you are listening to. Porches, The House. I was actually excited about this after the last release. I was kind of fond of that, but here it just seems to be lacking much character or ability to captivate. It's just those two traits are just absent here, and it's just very easy to just find yourself kind of nodding off through this record. The Spook School, Could It Be Different? This is like a critically important record for what it talks about. I only wish that how it goes about saying it in terms of what is backed up by performance wise was of the same quality of what it's saying. That's really the big letdown here for me. Asterisk, The Drink, or The Drink by The Drink. This isn't really an accessible record by any means, but if you manage to brave it out, you'll just see many sides of this, like just lo-fi duo that just, yeah, are definitely different from a lot of British music just now, but I think totally warrant having more people check them out. Belle and Sebastian, How to Solve Part 2. If you like Belle and Sebastian, you'll like this EP. If you don't like Belle and Sebastian, you won't like this EP. They're not really doing much different here. It's just pretty standard, but it's a nice enough EP if you're into that stuff. First Aid Kit, Ruins. There's just a lovable simplicity to this album. Lyrically, it's not all that layered, but much like something like Carly Rae Jepsen, it just sounds so nice. It's very hard to really like nitpick at it or find much to have much grievance with, especially when they start to push themselves out their comfort zone a little bit. Yeah, just one of those rock records from this year, or well, more indie folk records that just, yeah, definitely is warranting the really positive reception it's getting. Justin Timberlake, Man of the Woods. JT takes an ambitious leap, falls totally flat in his face and loses most of his teeth and his dignity in the process. What a bad album. MGMT, Little Dark Age. I've heard a lot of people say how it's a bit more front loaded, that they find it gets weak in its second half. I totally disagree. This is the best album MGMT have ever put out. My only real gripe with it is that the penultimate track's a little bit weak. If that was cut out, this would be a 9 easy for me, but as it stands, still a great album. Microshift by Hookworms sometimes feels like it's holding itself back, like it's got more to say or do, but it's still a bit too timid to do so. But when it does say something, there is some like really nice subject matter explored here in a very appropriate way, and just the instrumentals and performances here are all really nice. Ravyn, Lenae, Crush, Steve Lacy did some great production on here, but really it's Ravyn that's just showing how she's a force to be reckoned with. She's going to be she's going to have a huge presence in R&B for the next few years, probably even longer. Just listen to this EP and you'll have no doubts about my word. Oh, Room Inside the World. I feel like this has been getting a lot of negative feedback, and it's not quite clicked for me yet, as it has with some people like David Rowe. I'd watch his review because he's probably managed to sell this a bit more to. For me, the lyrics are absolutely heartbreaking at points, but I really didn't think that the instrumentals and performances did much to really sell it to me, so I'm still kind of lukewarm on it. Caroline Rose, Loner. Caroline Rose went for a different sound here than what she usually goes for, to a more kind of indie rock pop sound, and it totally works for her. It is pretty, it might not be so much one note but simple at points, but some of these songs, some of this subject matter is just extremely smart. It's just, I feel like it has been overlooked and underrated a fair bit. HOVVDY, Cranberry. I really rated HOVVDY's debut album, but here I just feel a little bit let down. It feels like they're getting a bit complacent and they're not really pushing themselves, they're just kind of like sticking to their bread and butter, which would be fine for some people, but I really don't think that they're really pushing themselves that well, and it means that their sound does become a bit stagnant. Lil Yachty, Lil Boat 2. I wouldn't say this is better than Teenage Emotions, but Teenage Emotions at least try to do something, whereas this album just feels like it's just kind of more generic trap rap for me, and I like Lil Boat 1, and there's a few good kind of like carefree trap bops on here, but really Lil Yachty's appeal starts to wear thin for me. TV Girl, Death of a Party Girl. This is like if Def Caf or Cutie went in a solely pop direction but decided to keep the wit. They never really have a bad song on here. It's consistently solid, but I don't think there's enough high points to really rate it anything higher than good, but definitely something that's been kind of overlooked by a lot of people, and I think some folk probably get a lot more out of it than I did. Minutes Unlimited, Making Contact. This is an EP that I've not heard a single soul talk about, and it's not really mind-blowing IDM, but it's definitely IDM music that kind of warrants a listen, because I do think that somewhere down the line, about half of this duo, or both members of this duo, are going to end up contributing to like a stellar hip-hop album with the production they've got on here. The Weeknd, My Dear Melancholy. Yeah, some people were negative on this, and while I guess The Weeknd starts to repeat himself a little bit, I can't deny I had a great time with this record. Hurt You is one of his best songs, and yeah, there's a lot of style, but I do think there's a lot of substance, or at least enough substance to make it worth praising, or at least being positive on. Kwame, Endless Conversations. This is another EP that I started to become a bit less hot on as the year went on, because the influences are very like obvious, but that being said, there's a lot of just personality and genuineness that makes me interested to see what Kwame does next. It's definitely on my radar now, even if he didn't totally win me over with this release. Vaccines, Combat Sports. This is our weakest album to date. Even people that don't like English Graffiti can like at least acknowledge that it was a lot more fun and goofy and different, whereas this feels like they're trying to replicate what they did in their first 2 records, but they've lost that knack. I would have much rather they tried to do English Graffiti again and just went crazy with it, because I can at least admire that, whereas with this one I just feel disinterested. Migos, Culture 2, what a gargantuan bloated record that bar stir fry shouldn't exist. I hate this record. I hate it. Craig David, The Time Is Now, he had an overly long run time, just totally subpar production, and Bastille, you end up with just one of the worst records of 2018. Oh, this was bad. Car Seat Headrest, Twin Fantasy. Yeah, this is the first 10 I'm going to give on this channel, because honestly, there's not a bad word I can say about it, and there's so much good that can be said about it. I really wish I did a full review of this, but I just wasn't in the right headspace to do so. But yeah, there's not like one single flaw of this. The choice to go for more polished production as opposed to the original lo-fi sound just does wonders for me. It just resonates with me a lot more. The whole talk about mental health and sexuality is just explored so intelligently. Will Toledo is a total wordsmith, and even though he said to me to fuck off at one of his gigs, I still can't deny the Twin Fantasy is probably the best indie rock record of this decade. I can't think of one that comes onto the same level as it. Just take a bow, because yeah, this is their best record for me. I prefer it even over Teens of Denial. It's just, yeah, so good. Reggie Snow, Dear Annie, I release it, yeah. I'm not as big on it as I was when it first came out. I just think Reggie himself is what holds us back, because I think the beats and the influences on here are all balanced pretty well, whereas his flow here is just, it gets mundane. I think people haven't really realised it before because they're more used to it in shorter bursts, whereas here you definitely feel it just start to like lose its appeal for me. Yeah, this is probably the most flip-flop in the record this year. Chief Keef, Autopsy, an EP I didn't really expect much of, but yeah, like, it's not groundbreaking, but it has that self-awareness and braggadociousness that makes artists like Chief Keef and 2 Chainz just a lot of fun to listen to, and sometimes a lot of fun is what you need, especially when trap starts to like just kind of become a bit dull. Speaking of dull trap rap, the Carters, Everything Is Love. Oh, you would think the Beyonce and Jay-Z would be much better here, but they're not. It's just the production is so one note, it becomes so stagnant. They both just don't sound all that interesting in what they're doing, and yeah, I find it totally redundant and uninspiring. It is a total letdown considering who the 2 people behind it are. Drake, Scorpion, Nice for What and God's Plan are 2 good to great songs. Nice for What might be one of my favourite songs of the year, but oh Jesus, this album is a total chore to get through. It's easily Drake's worst album, and as somebody that wasn't big on views and thinks More Life was okay and had some good songs on it, and I did think the running time in that was a bit much. Yeah, this one just, I listened to it, I got through my second listen like halfway through and was just like, you know what, I can't be bored with it. If he couldn't be bored when he was making this, and I can't be bored giving it a thorough review. So yeah, Florence and the Machine, Highest Hope. While this record feels a bit light at points, like they could do with a bit more development, oh god, this is the best they've been. This is the best that Florence Welch and Co have been since like 2012 when Ceremonials came out, which I still think is a great record. There's some songs on here that just managed to capture that magic that just made them such a huge hit back in the early 2010s, late 2000s, whenever their debut came out. Hunger, just one of the best tracks of the year, without a doubt. I'm going to butcher this name here, Angelique Kidjo, Remain in Light. This should be totally and utterly sacrilegious considering it's a remake of one of the best albums of all time, undoubtedly Talking Heads' magnum opus as far as I'm concerned. So going into this I was a bit hesitant, but Rick the Lie had said, oh, it's one of his favourite albums of the year, and I can totally see why, because stripping this down to its Afro-funk roots, it's such a genius choice. It's insane to think that somebody didn't think of doing this like 10 years ago or something like that. Really the only song that doesn't really benefit from it is Once in a Lifetime, but every other song does. It's such a it's great to see a classic record be kind of updated or changed in a way that even though it's a bit more skeletal, it's totally fresh, which is, it's weird to say, but yeah, a big surprise. And I think more people that are huge into Talking Heads need to check this out. OPN, Age of, I don't know how to pronounce OPN's name in right now, I'm too flamed up to even bother attempting to pronounce it. But yeah, this is just an album that I want to like more than I actually do. I think it starts to, just start to like not even have much of a focus in its first half. A lot of what OPN is trying to incorporate here just feels a bit janky and, well, not all that well incorporated. There are some good songs here. Toys 2 is the one that jumps to mind. But yeah, I think the first half here is too weak for me to feel all that positive on. Black Dresses, Waste Isolation. This album, this act, have this whole laugh the pain away philosophy. And throughout this release, the mask starts to slip. You start to feel this anguish and pain. Sometimes it is incorporated, like the mask is still half hanging on, there's trying to laugh while crying kind of thing. It's totally unsettling, almost nightmarish at points, and it works. It works so well. I'm so happy I gave this a chance. Rolo, Tomassi, Time Will Die and Love Will Bury It. Was Buffalo Staple on the money with this record? Yes, he was. This album is filled that Touche Amore shaped hole in my heart. It's just utterly powerful and moving, whether it be the vocals, whether it be just the lovely guitar and drum work here, or whether it just be both of them combined. Maybe I wish it was a bit tighter near the end of it, because I think some songs just go on a bit too long, and you just start to feel like it could border on samey, but it never really did become samey for me. Just the worry of it, and just that, yeah, basically if it was tightened up a bit more in the second half of the album, I would be singing its praises much more than I already am, and I do think that it deserved to have its praises sung. U.S. Girls in a Poem. Yeah, this album hits a few bumps on the road, which makes me feel a bit hesitant to really praise it as much as other people are praising it. But that being said, there's just some really intelligent pop on here, probably some of the most just best pop music to come out in the past few years. It's just a shame that there are other songs that do drag it down, that feel just totally inconsequential and don't feel like they deserve to be there. Anna Birch, Quit the Curse. Yeah, it is a little one note a lot of the time, but I do think that Anna herself just has a lot of personality, that there's so much of it that it makes you want to listen to it again and again. I can't really give it much more praise than that, because as I say, it's a bit one note. I wish there was a bit more variety. But that being said, yeah, a good release. Screaming Females, All at Once. Anyone that says guitar music is dead is just an absolute fool. Screaming Females, just the power they possess here, and both just their performances and vocals alone, it is just totally invigorating, totally intimidating, but it's so intimidating that you want to be put in that kind of position where you're going, yeah, just fuck my shit up here, just fuck my shit up. One of the best rock releases of the year, no doubt. That's been my mid-year roundup. I'll be sure to have my 10, 15, 20 favourite albums of the year so far video up later on this week. I just want to do this kind of catch up so that at least I've gave some sort of introduction to these records. Hopefully I don't repeat myself too much if some of these albums do pop up in the list. I'm sure some of them will. But yeah guys, thank you for watching. If you disagree with anything that I said, if you agree with anything I said, if I missed out on any albums that you think I should be listening to, for better or for worse, let me know. But yeah, as always guys, thank you for watching, stay safe and stay hydrated.